Okay, before we get started, there's a few things we need to go over. The first is make sure you print your quick guide. It has a checklist of all the forms you need to file to get your papers done. The second is, number one here on my list is get a container, get a case, a big envelope, a briefcase, something to keep your papers in. People who try to keep their papers in a rubber band or piled in their car usually will end up missing hearing notices, missing deadlines. It's not a good idea to do that. What am I talking about? I'm talking about there's a clipboard that I have. It's a clip case. The inside of it looks like this. You can even keep a tablet in here, or over here, and keep your papers all together so you don't lose them. This right here is a clipboard case. They sell these at Staples, at Office Depot, Walmart. They all have them, and they all open up, and you can keep all your papers together. You won't lose them. This is a bin I got at Walmart. It's $5. It's got a handle, a lid. Use something like this to keep all your papers together. Believe me, you won't be sorry later on. It'll really help. All right, so the next thing is make sure you review your judicial circuit page for documents that are unique to your location. A lot of locations, a lot of jurisdictions require you to file something called a standing orders or designation of jurisdiction. There are unique forms to each circuit, and I've provided the place to find those for you. Just take a look. This is the member start page. Remember the big red button, you can't miss it. Just go here to the judicial circuit page. It doesn't matter if you don't know which circuit you live in. It's all spread out. Just pick your county. So say you're in Charlotte County. All right, there it is. You know it's the 20th Circuit. Do the acknowledgments, the lawyer stuff. All right, 20th Circuit. What am I talking about? Well, the Judicial Circuit, there's the mediation office, if you need to know that. I've put that there for you. Standing orders. This is what I'm talking about. Self-help program, see here on the right? Standing order, Charlotte County Self-Help Program brochure, and then standing order. You need to file standing orders. There it is. With every case, and you would print these out and bring it to the clerk's office with your divorce package. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Back to the list. All right, so I'm going to walk you through completing your papers. Follow along. If you have any questions, if there's anything specific or you don't understand something, please email me. I'll do my very best to help you. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, when completing your papers, remember, in the very beginning, there's a questionnaire that has your name, the respondent's name, or if you're doing an answer, everybody's names, addresses, everything you need. You don't print after you're done with the questionnaire. There are two separate documents you need to fill out after that, called the UCCJEA and the financial affidavit. I will show you those. You don't need to worry about that now, but that's in the packet. Okay, so don't complete the questionnaire and print it out. Complete the questionnaire, follow along, do the UCCJEA and the financial affidavit. I'll do it with you. I'll show you exactly what you need. After you've completed your papers, don't print them out 3 times and then take them to a notary. The notary is going to charge you for notarizing 3 separate documents. Print them once. Go to the notary. Okay, have them notarized. Then copy them 3 times. Remember the rule of 3s. You give the original to the clerk. You keep a copy for yourself, and a 3rd copy goes to the opposition. Some clerk's offices want an extra copy. I usually do it 3 times, all right? But generally, most clerk's offices, you only need to have 3, okay? Go to your local clerk's office. The addresses are all there on the website for you. There are 67 counties and 20 judicial circuits, but it's all there for you. Go there to file your papers. You're going to find the address on the judicial circuit page. Somebody might tell you, hey, there's a way to electronic file. You can scan your documents and file. Right now, they're getting better, but right now it is not user-friendly. It's very difficult. You're going to make mistakes. Just take it to the clerk's office. Hand it to them. Hand them a check for the filing fee. Hand them a check for the service of process with the sheriff, and you're good to go. Okay, filing fee is in between $400 and $500. It's usually close to $400, $408, $415. There's no rhyme or reason, but it's generally that amount. You're also going to need $40 for the sheriff's department if you want them to serve your papers, but you also may need more if you use a private process server. Excuse me. If you want to use a private process server, you're going to need to hire that person yourself, or you can just give the check to the clerk, and they'll probably deliver the papers to the sheriff for you, and you're done. Okay? Follow along. Email me if you have any questions. Use the blog to get your questions answered. Good luck. Let's get to work. All right, so this is the video walkthrough for the answer to petition for paternity and custody and time sharing, parenting, a paternity case. This is the type of case that you'll have if you and another person reproduced but you're not married, okay, and you've been sued by your co-parent, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it. You've been sued by your co-parent. You've received something called a summons, which looks like this. Okay, ignore the names. I just made up some names. Okay, but you've received something called a summons, and it says that you've got 20 calendar days to file a response. You're freaking out. Don't freak out. Everything you need is right here for you. Okay, keep this part, the summons, handy because you'll need some information from it to fill out the form app. Okay, so I'm going to shrink this down. Let's take a look. All right, the answer. I've already started filling some of this in because you don't need to watch me type. I'll explain it as we go. You saw I cut and pasted from there. Just copy the case number right here. That's all you need to do. And a lot of people don't know what county, what circuit they live in. Everybody's got to know what county they live in. So, but if you look at the top, it says 20th Judicial Circuit. That's all you need. So let's type that in here. Okay, so there you go. Now, you are the respondent if you're responding, if you're answering, if you're filing an answer, you got 20 days to do it. The petitioner, um, at the uh, at the top of this, this is called the caption. Hopefully, you've went ahead and saw my video on the anatomy of a pleading and got to understand that this top part right here, this is called a caption. Okay, whoever the petitioner and the respondent is stays that way always forever if you're under this case number. So any document that's filed under this case number is going to have this top part on it that tells the court what case it is, tells the clerk where to file it, and Betty Rubble will always be the respondent. It never changes. Even if Betty Rubble, the respondent, is filing her own petition or counter petition, if it's filed under this case number, this top part will always stay the same. And just so you know, there is no advantage to being either a petitioner or a respondent in family court. It makes no difference whatsoever. Okay, there's no advantage either way. All right, so filling this stuff out, you're going to put your petitioner or the person who's suing you, you're going to put their name here in capital letters. And if they're the mother or the father, you put that down. Address, city, state, it cannot be easier. If you don't know the social security number, don't worry. You don't necessarily need it for filing an answer. Put his telephone number there, or the petitioner's telephone number. Put the email there. All right, and this is you, Betty Rubble. Now, I understand this is not according to how the Flintstones mythos really went on with Fred and Wilma and Barney and Betty, but I just needed to throw some names in here, and that's all this is. So, but you're the respondent. You're going to be Betty in this instance, okay? You're the mother. You put it down. If you're the father, you're the father. You put that down too. Respondent's date of birth. Put your date of birth here. Put your social here, your telephone number, and your email. It's important to put the email address in. The court system is using the email for just about everything these days. And put your address, street number and name, city, state. Okay, and as it pertains to children, how many children do you have on this example? Just to make it easy, I just put that y'all had one. Okay, and so you put one child here. I made up a name just to leave it alone. I had to put something there. Put the initials here. All right, male, female, where the child was born, date of birth. Now, all the court-approved forms, when it pertains to this type of thing, ask for a child's social security number. Don't put that in here. I have to have a place for it just in case I need to modify later on, but don't put the kid's social security number in. I've never done it in my 20 plus years practicing law. Never ever have I done it. No judge has made me. In this day and age of identity theft, and it's just really important to protect your children. Okay, so that's it. If you have other kids, second child will go here. Child number 2, you'd write a 2 here. Okay, but you're not done yet. We still have some other things to do. Let's keep going. And you'll notice you don't have to retype this in here because it's already there. All right. And so the answer, you're not necessarily making allegations. If you're filing an answer, you're responding. And what do I mean by this? It says, I agree with petitioner as to the allegations raised in these number of paragraphs. One way to answer, is what you do is you go ahead, get the petition. That's the summons. Hold on. Get the petition to determine paternity. It looks something like this. This is an action to determine paternity and blah, blah, blah. Petitioner is the blank of the following minor children. So let's say the petitioner, Fred, is the dad and we've got Fruity Pebbles here. Okay? So you would agree with that if Fred is the dad. So, do you agree with number one that Fred is the dad? Well, what you would do here is you'd say, yes, I agree with number one. Okay, what else? Let's take another look. Fred lives at this address. For number two, yeah, I agree Fred lives at that address, so we'll put a 2 there. And so on and so forth. Another way to do it too is I agree as to jurisdiction, and I could put the caps on here. Turn that caps off. I agree as to jurisdiction that Fred and I are the parents, and all other regular, I don't know, biographical information. That's one way of doing it too. Okay, just list it, put whatever it is. All right. If you want to put the numbers in, just like I showed you, you can do that too. Now, what do you disagree with? Well, let's say Fred in his petition said Betty is not fit to be a mom. And let's say, I don't know, what's the summons? Let's say, down here, he wrote number 12. No parental responsibility for Betty. She is crazy. Whatever. Okay. Let's say he says this. This is allegation number 12, right? So, and you would disagree with number 12. You're Betty. You're not crazy. So let's go to number 12 here. I disagree with number 12. I am not crazy. Okay. Just write it down what you disagree with. Not rocket science, guys. You can do this. Okay. I'm currently unable to admit or deny the allegations. Well, let's say Fred wrote something to the form of Betty, the respondent, which would be you, has paid some child support, but is also crazy. Okay, so you're admitting that and denying it partially. You know, number whatever, is both right and wrong. Whatever. Okay, just do a response. That's all you have to do. Okay, piece of cake. Number 4, you can ignore. It's done for you. It just has some recitals in it. All right, we are going to do a financial affidavit right now, and you're going to be amazed at how easy it is now. Okay, child support guidelines worksheet. You're not going to do that in the very beginning. You don't have pay stubs. You don't have bank records. You don't have what's called mandatory disclosure. You can't do it now. Okay. If you're Betty, if you're the respondent, you're going to need to sign this in front of a notary. All right, make your copies after it's notarized. Don't make 3 and then make the notary notarize 3 different copies. Okay. Print it out first. All right, now if you're Betty, if you're the respondent, and if you're male or female, it doesn't matter, and you don't think that Fred is Fruity Pebbles, the child's father. So you put the child here, okay, the child's full name and the date of birth, okay, and you can ask the court for a DNA test. That's all this is for, okay? You fill it out. You would put Fred here and you here. This form is good for either the petitioner or the respondent to use. That's why those fields are not interlinking, okay? All right, so order. This is the order you'll give to the judge to fill out for the judge to order whether it's done or not, okay? You don't have to do anything with this. Keep going. All right, this is called a UCCJEA. Now, one of these will be done with the documents that you are served. You can, quite frankly, just copy it and type it in here if you want. Okay, or you can just put down where the child has lived for the last 5 years. So let's say Fruity Pebbles has lived with Fred. It's 2019 or whatever. The last 5 years, I don't know, from 2013 and 14 to the present. You just put down the address and name. You put down your name, Fred Flintstone and Betty. It's easy, piece of cake, okay? Relationship, parents. All right. You see how I only put one box here? These boxes disappear when you print, by the way. But you don't need to put anything else in here. Okay. So, and if the kids lived with grandparents, you just write grandparents here. All right. So you put wherever the children has lived for the last 5 years. If from 2012 to 2013 we lived in Cleveland, just write it there. Okay. Seriously, not rocket science, you guys. Piece of cake, okay? All right, let's keep going. If there was a second child, child number 2, who was Rocky, Rubble, whatever, okay, you would need to retype all this information that's in here. All you would just type is same as child number 1, okay? It's easy to do this, all right? It really is, I swear. The way I've created these formats, they do it all for you practically. All right, so these are for other kids. You don't need to bother with those if you only have one child. Now, these are questions having to do with whether or not there's any other cases. So I've not participated as a witness or capacity. There's no other cases pending. You check that box if there are no other cases pending. But let's say there is. There was a custody case, an injunction case or something. You can put injunction case, same county. As long as you say where it is, if you have a case number, put it down. Just give some information, okay? You don't have to go crazy looking and searching. If you know of something, just put it down, okay? I have no information of a custody time sharing proceeding. You check that box. If there is one, then you'd put it in here, okay? The reason why is they don't want two different courtrooms, two different judges saying who has custody. That would be a mess, wouldn't it? I don't know of any person who's not a party to this proceeding who says they have custody or whatever. Usually you'll check that box. If the answer is the other way, there's a place for you to type in whatever you need to type here. Okay? This is all very self-explanatory. Child support. So let's say the Department of Revenue got involved and ordered old Freddie to pay some child support. So not subject to existing child support, you wouldn't check that one. You check this one. So name of each child. Well, Fruity, Pebbles. And if it was a DOR case, you could write Department of Revenue case. Okay? That's all you'd have to do. All right, and the judge can look all these up. Everything's in a computer database. Okay. You also have to put down your service of process. So you're going to mail these to Fred, or you're going to email them. All right, you're going to hand deliver them, whatever it is. Check the box and put down the date. Let's say today is September, I don't know, 20th to 2020. I don't know. Whatever date you want to put down, that's the date you're giving it to Fred. Okay, that's your certificate of service. And remember my rule that wherever your name is, and there's a line above it, that's someplace you have to sign. Okay, a clue is where it says signature, but if you have your name somewhere on this thing and there's a line above it, that means you need to sign. Okay? All right, so you'll notice all this is filled out for you. Okay, it's all done. All right, Betty Rubble, the notary, will notarize that. All right, so this is the financial affidavit. Most people look at this form and they freak out and they think, oh my God, look how horrible this is. It is not horrible. It is easy. Okay, watch me. Occupation, what is Betty? Landscaper. Whatever. Employed by, I don't know, A and B, landscaping. You give the company here. Business address, 1122 Punta Gorda Street. Punta Gorda. Just put the address here. All right. Now, something you need to know about this form is I know it has every other week and twice a month for some of this information. This is a monthly form. Okay. The court is going to need to know monthly what this information is. Okay. So you check the box monthly, and if you get paid every week, figure out what it is yearly. Okay. Divide that by 12. It'll give you your month. Okay. Take your year, divide by 12. That'll get your month. So let's say Betty's a really good landscaper and she makes $3,000 a month. All right. Another thing too, I have a note to you here. Round to the nearest decimal. Don't put decimals here. Don't put cents here. The form doesn't like it. Just like you would when doing your taxes, round to the nearest dollar. If it's $1.49 and below, it's $1. If it's $1.50 and above, it's $2. Okay, not rocket science. So don't put decimals in. Put some nice round numbers. Don't put commas in either. The form does not want commas. Don't do that. Okay, just put the number. All right, so this form will do the math for you. See how it's here? Let's say Betty's making some money from something else, a royalty or a trust or something. See how that changed to $3,500? List it here. Okay. All right, so let's say you are the respondent, you're Betty, and you're in a hurry. you've got to get this thing in. You don't have any pay stubs handy. A good rule to follow to estimate your taxes is just multiply it by 15%. So this is her gross, by the way. The number you're putting here, this is gross. This is the before taxes number. Okay? And to get to the after taxes number, after it's all taken out, you take your gross, 3,500, and you multiply it by 15%. So 3,500 times 0.15 is 525. Okay. I also put in here some figures, maybe approximations. That's already typed in. That's to, you can do approximations. Your job is to do the best you can on these things. All right. These other boxes, if you want to write notes, like pay stubs will be provided, whatever. If you want to write something in here, by all means, go ahead. The more information, the better. Okay. So 525, that's going to go in line 19. Okay. Done. Now, by all means, if you do have your pay stub, fill the rest of this in. If you've got it, just put it in. Okay? Really, that's all you have to do. So, where you land, present monthly net income. So we take your 3,500 minus the estimated taxes. This is what you have left. Okay? Remember to round to the nearest dollar. Now, some of these items are going to be approximations. That's why I put in here some figures, maybe approximations. Okay, let's say your rent is always going to be the same amount for the most part. Let's say Betty's paying $1,000 or $1,500 a month for rent. She's not going to be paying property taxes because she's renting, but utilities, electric changes every month. So just I don't know, average it. $120, okay, or telephone $100, okay. Food, $400, meals outside of home. Just put in some round numbers. Something you need to know about this form, though. Okay, like I said, this is a monthly form. All right, there are a couple places where you're going to need to do a little bit of easy math. Let's take a look. Let's say her repairs. What are the repairs? Well, she's not making repairs monthly, but Betty, the respondent, is going to sit here and think, well, wait a minute. Last year, my car broke down. I had to get the transmission fixed and whatever, and it cost me $1,200. But that was only one time. I'm not spending $1,200 a month. This is a monthly form. Okay, it's monthly. So that was the yearly amount. What should she do? Divide by 12. Okay, just as if she had budgeted that out. All right, so repairs is $100. Another example, look up here where it says gifts. All right, so Betty's thinking to herself, well, I've got birthday gifts, I've got anniversary gifts, Christmas gifts. Last year I spent $3,600 on my gifts. Is she going to leave that $3,600? No, that's monthly is what they want. That's the yearly amount, so you got 12 months in a year, so you take $3,600 divided by 12 gives you $300. Problem solved, okay? All right, the rest of this, if she's paying some daycare or lunch money, put these numbers in. I'm just going to throw numbers in here. Grooming, shampoo, whatever, $20, gifts for the holidays. Gifts up here, gifts for the holidays. Well, this is for the kids, this is for other people. Let's say she got a Bank of America credit card. Let's say she got a Bank of America credit card. And let's say she's paying $1,000 a month on her Bank of America credit card, all right? And she's filled the rest of this in, okay? So that's the bottom line of how much she's spending on her budget. Now, you'll notice that her incoming does not meet her outgoing. Guess what? Almost everybody I've ever seen in my past 22 plus years has been in the negative when they get to this point. Your income is not going to meet your outgoing. Your incoming is not going to meet your outgoing. That's okay. If it's a few $100s, that's not a hill of beans difference. If somebody asks you, how are you surviving? Your income doesn't meet your outgoing. Well, I'm not surviving. I'm using credit cards. I'm borrowing from my parents. These days, it takes two people just to be broke. So the negative number, if you've got a negative 805, what are you going to do? You're going to put that here, 805. Okay, you don't need to put a little minus there. That's what the parentheses are. And then this is the amount of your deficit. See that? Okay, it's just giving you the deficit. But let's take it another way. Let's say she doesn't have a Bank of America, or let's say it's $10 a month. See how the numbers changed? Now what does she have? Well, see, there's no minus here, so she has a surplus. So her incoming is more than her outgoing. So at the end of the month, she's got an extra $185 to burn. I wish we all were in that situation. That number would go here. That's a surplus. Okay, so if you've got a minus here, you put it here. And if you're like $5,000 in the hole, you need to rethink things. The judge is going to wonder how you're surviving, okay? But if you're a few $100s, it's expected, Surplus will go into this number. All right. Now, as it pertains to Section 3, the rule here is this. You have to put what it is. If you don't know how much it's worth or the number, that's okay. What it is important, not how much it's worth. And I'm going to explain why right now. Okay, so you put cash on hand. If you got $100, you put that in, put it here. Remember, no commas, no decimals. It'll do the math for you. Okay, stocks, bonds, notes, real estates. All right, look, here's the deal. All right, let's say Betty's got a AT&T stock, 1,000 shares, value unknown. All right, she's listed it. Okay, approximate value. You can put approx here. Let's say the approximate value, I don't know, I'm just making numbers up, $100,000. Okay, so the approximate value is this. The court will know it's an approximate value. Well, let's say Betty says, I don't want anybody to know I've got that stock. I'm going to leave that blank. Is she not committing fraud on the court? Is she not? She swears and affirms everything's in here is true. Okay, you leave something out, that's bad. Don't leave anything out. You have to put what it is, not how much it's worth. Okay, and the reason why is this. Couldn't you find out how much the stock is worth? Look it up, ask for a statement, send a subpoena. Same thing with an IRA. IRA with, I don't know, SunTrust. I'm making stuff up here, but let's say Betty says, I don't want anybody to know that I've got an IRA, so I'm not putting it in here. Is she not committing fraud on the court by not listing it? List what it is. Value unknown. Okay, so if you don't know the value, that's fine. You can leave this blank here. You could check the box if you want to. All of these are checkable. Okay, put what it is. If you need to put the value in later, you can send a subpoena. You could send a request, and write a note to the court. Will request statement. Okay, to let the court know you're going to do that. All right, it's important to put what it is. All right, now when we get to liabilities, it's the same thing. Bank of America. Do not put account numbers in these. Keep your account numbers out. All right, so just put down what it is, how much it's worth, or the value. These are going to be estimates. Everybody knows that. Now, the court-approved form, which this is slightly modified, but it's a court-approved form, does not do a good job of explaining what a contingent asset and liability is. What in the world is a contingent asset? Contingent asset is possible asset. So what would that be? Well, let's say Betty fell down, I don't know, in McDonald's. So she's got a slip and fall, McDonald's, and her lawyer says you're going to get $5,000. So we'll put the $5,000 here. Everybody knows it's an estimate. Okay, what is a contingent liability? Well, that's the opposite. This is an asset, something you're getting. Liability is something you're losing. So let's say Betty got in a car accident. She's being sued for a car accident, and you're going to be losing, I don't know, just an estimated $20,000. Whatever it is, put it here. Okay, leave this stuff blank, this here. Just put the basics in. All right, and guess what? You're done. All right. You are going to do a child support guidelines worksheet, so check this box. All right, you're not going to do it now. You don't have all the information now. You can't do it now. All right, so check the box, sign the name where there's a line. See, look, the name of the respondent's here. Okay. All right, and you sign on the line above, do it in front of a notary, and you're good to go. This is already filled out for you. See how this is already in here? Okay, done. All right, you don't have to do anything here. Just make sure it's signed in front of a notary. See, the rest of this is all done for you. Okay, name, line above it. Name, line above it. Okay, done. All right, your email address is going to go here. Okay. All right, you'll put the date here. Okay. All right, done. Everything's done for you. All right, and that's it. All you have to do now at this point is print it, sign it with a notary, copy it 3 times. Remember the rule of threes: 1 copy to the court, the original to the court, 1 copy to the opposition, and all you have to do is mail it. Just put in the regular mail with a stamp on it. All right, and you keep a copy for yourself. I usually do an extra one. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, please be sure to email me or use the blog on the website. Good luck.